going on, beautiful people? We're going to give it some time for people to come in as the notifications go out and clear the space of any and all energies, entities, beings that's not serving your highest and greatest good, and calling in the lavish abundance of the universe. We are going to talk a bit about this Venus and Saturn conjunction in the sign of Pisces. And I'm going to share about the different houses, but more so like, what is this energy calling to us? So Venus is damn near already close. We're in the energy now. Today is January 17, and so the conjunction is said to be between the 17th and the 18th, where Venus and Saturn will be side by side to each other, and then conjuncting each other. And by the 19th, Venus will start passing through Saturn by like 3 degrees. And so, wow. Venus and Saturn tend to get along pretty well, even though Saturn can be about restrictions and limitations, and love is about liberation, right, rather than restrictions and limitations. But what they love to talk about with each other is commitment, right? And this is where like marriage even comes through, right? The ceremony of marriage, and at least from my channeling, right, in connection with that energy, it's like a lifelong commitment, marriage of love and perfect trust, right? And about establishing a foundation through the thick and thins of unconditional love. And Saturn very much is a teacher of unconditional love, even though, it may have another appearance. People may not think so. They may think because it is the greater malefic that it's incapable of love, and that's not necessarily true. Like, love is the embodiment. And Venus being a goddess of love, a planet of love, right? She has a way of reminding Saturn about the beauty of life, the beauty of love, the beauty of commitments, right? The beauty of the dedication and the disciplines, right? And Venus loves to be in Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces, right? And so, I believe I did a video on Saturn in Pisces, and I did a video of Venus and Pisces. And so you're going to want to watch those two videos to get more of an overview. And then I will be sharing the North Node video. More than likely, that's going to go out tomorrow. And so the houses are going to be the same houses, yes. However, its influence is going to be different, because how the North Node influences you isn't the same way that Saturn is going to influence you, or Venus is going to influence you. And then Saturn and Venus conjunction together in this sacred marriage of, love, right? It shows the attraction of opposites also. And it can have a little bit of a melancholy, longing type of energy to it. It can, because of Saturn. And depending on the placements, it can be very much about having a sobery effect to that which you've been fantasizing about so much, or overindulging in, or just self-sabotaging in a way, right? This conjunction is very much bringing us closer to the lunar nodes of the South Node conjunction also, and we are getting ready for a planet parade happening. So this whole, not just this weekend, although I am talking about this conjunction in itself, this whole weekend is an activation in which Saturn and Venus is going to be doing this sacred dance close to each other, while the other planets are slowly but surely lining up to meet up also, right? And it's such a beauty to have such harmonious commitments with other consciousness, right? Other principalities, other, I'm saying principalities, but I meant to say like faculties, but even that, right? It may even be that, right? Like the principle. It's gonna feel a bit tough for some of you, because there's a lot of fated changes. Saturn is very much about like your karmic, your soul contract even, right? And with it being Venus and Saturn in the sign of Pisces, this is about like rewiring the subconscious mind. And how dedicated are you to being open to change and having patience through this change, and staying focused on your why, on your long-term goals, and loyalty to that which you have committed to, right? And there's some affirmation cards that was coming through earlier. And so I'm going to share those as well. Feel free to write them down. Feel free to come back to this. And I was getting like 2 different groups, so I'll share that. But it was also like, a lot of this is to go within also. This is about that inner soul love, and really dismantling and dissolving the traumatic experiences of love as you know it, and really rise deep, go deeper in love with yourself, and essentially magnetically attracting the love of your life externally even, right? Because Venus is like, be an embodiment of love. You are made from love making, right? And Saturn is like, as you embody this, every fractal of light is projected from your inner world to your outer world, in which becomes your reality. So there's this like crazy magnetic pull to your true soul's light frequencies, light codes, if you will, coming through this portal to bring like an epiphany of what it is you have been experiencing in life, and what are you projecting. This is a great opportunity for diving deeper and unlocking parts of your divinity in which you have kept yourself hostage and bondage, and it's your opportunity to liberate yourself, to dissolve and rescind those contracts, or even renegotiate with yourself, right? For allowing yourself to be in tune with the biggest versions of you. There was a thing about communicating or communing with angels and the angles of light of your being. So I'm going to take a sip of the tea and I'm going to read the first affirmation card. Some of you are going to have major shifts when it comes down to relationships. And this could even, in some cases, this can feel very difficult because Shani can be a tough teacher. You know, Shani wants you to shine. Even though people feel trapped and restricted from being able to shine, Shani wants you to remember to be the captain of your ship, that those limitations only exist through your free will, that you are the one that is reaping what you sow, in a sense where if you are allowing others to shit on your lawn, but you don't stop them from shitting on your lawn, and you don't tilt the soil, and you don't convert the shit into fertilizer, well then it's going to be a very toxic environment for you to even breathe in, that can cause sickness and cause all these harsh experiences. But if you know how to say no, you're not allowed to keep shitting in my yard. Like, and you learn to tilt the soil and allow it to become fertilizer to neutralize that energy in divine wisdom, to apply it for the seeds that are buried deep within you, deep within your soil. You've now harmonized the teachings, the wisdoms, the lessons, the hardships in a way of divine love frequency, in which can nurture and nourish the seeds within you to sprout and grow. This energy of Venus and Saturn being in conjunction is very much the harmonizing aspect of being in love, even in the underworld, being in love in the spaces in which it may be the hardest to love. Now, in some cases, people can feel very restricted in this love because it challenges their thought processes to learn more about unconditional love versus conditioned love, right? And with it being in Pisces, there's a lot of dissolution. It's a lot of dismantling what you thought love is. It's a lot of dismantling the ego parts of it, and that can be very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable for some people. There's gonna be some really strong decision making that has to be done A lot of y'all are just going to naturally feel a pull to this change in your love connection, right? And again, because I'm talking about Venus conjunct Saturn, it's going to be, even though I'm talking about the houses and the placements, and I'm going to give the affirmations in just a moment, it's going to play out slightly different than just like the North Node or Venus alone or Saturn alone, because they are their own individuals. But you have them here in union, in a sacred union. This is, that divine love frequency here with tough love, right? Like Saturn is tough love. And people find it difficult to find the love and the toughness in the areas in which maybe it can be cold and it can be dry and it can be very direct as a this is what it is, whether you like it or not, right? It brings you back to the principles, right? Because in actuality, what Saturn wants you to learn is the universal principles, especially when it's with Venus. It's like, I want you to create a foundation of longevity and success and fulfillment by accepting the truth for what it is, whether you like it or not. Allowing yourself to find forgiveness with yourself in the areas that you perhaps have been feeling guilty in, or keeping yourself stagnated from, but not just forgive yourself in a way that's going to be about spiritually bypassing the lesson, because you can never run away from yourself. This is about forgiving yourself with applying the lessons, the knowledge as wisdom, right? It's very beautiful. So I'm going to keep going on the channel in just a moment with Venus and Saturn. I'm just going to read this here. This was one of the first cards that came out here. And it is with the Muladhara, the root chakra. And it says, patience. Patience, as I observe in nature, growth takes time. This is a time for reflection, persistence, and surrender as things unfold at their own pace. I remain calm and tolerant during any challenging times. I develop quiet hope and expectations based on trust both in myself and a higher power. Saturn says slow and steady wins the race. Saturn says if you allow yourself to truly digest the information, energy, or even your food, right? Venus loves to indulge. Digest your indulgence one bite at a time, slowly chewing on the energy to embrace it, to savor it. You want to be the embodiment of love. You want a union with divine feminine and masculine energies of self, of source. You want a holy matrimony of longevity and generational wealth, generational health, generational longevity. Take your time with me. Choose slowly, and you will see how fulfilling you will actually be, and how even in the micro, the minutes, how less can be more. More wisdom, more acknowledgement, more awareness, just from one bite. Just from observing the plate before even taking a bite. Taking your time to process, to really integrate, without rushing your process because of a calendar's time or another person's speed. Right? The Gregorian calendar tells us we are in a new year and it's time for New Year's resolutions. And while there's nothing wrong with that, you can bring resolutions at any time. But what is time? Venus in Pisces breaks, dismantles, and dissolves all of that. And Saturn in Pisces dismantles all of that and bringing you back into the now space in which all that exists in the quantum realms exists with you now. So time can move as fast or as slow as you will it to be based on the love frequency that you are tapping into. And sometimes when you're going too fast, you might miss the scenery. You might miss something that is of great importance, even though at the time it may not seem to be so. And yet, by taking the scenic route, what you may find there is a solace, an epiphany, an awakening, a peace, a harmony, a love frequency in which if you were moving too fast, you would have missed it. Venus and Saturn conjunction is the slow foreplay that happens before the explosion. And yet it reaches the peak of a great orgasm to explode with a foundation that is everlasting. They have a sacred union in a marriage that is unlike any other. They dance through time and space with the dissolution of time and space. I'm going to read the other card. And this one also is the root chakra. And it says, courage and faith. I embrace the courage, faith, and adaptability as they are needed for me to overcome my fear of change or of the future. I regularly remind myself to be positive and to open to possibilities, knowing that I am the creator of my own destiny. I feel the fear and I do it anyway. I am ready and eager to move forwards. Saturn isn't always about speed and moving forward, but is ready. And eagerness can sometimes, it can be a thing, even though it teaches patience, that can be more of Venus energy. So on the shadow side, there could be a little bit of the anticipation or the anxiety or anxiousness because things are appearing to be still, appearing to be too stagnant or slow. It's like ice, right? And there was a video, a reel that was going on with a beautiful sister who was by the riverside, and it just looked like a blanket of ice. And actually, I recently had to travel up north, and I was having this conversation with my best friend and her partner. And I was like, just because it looks like ice on the top don't mean that water ain't moving underneath, right? And that's what the sister was sharing in her reel. It was in the river. It was a blanket of ice, what appeared like to be solid, still, stagnant. Underneath it is moving water, and as she kept walking, the waterfall part had the water underneath the ice moving. And that's Venus and Saturn conjunction. The waters are moving. It's doing so much on an internal level that it may appear slow on the surface, as if nothing is actually happening, but so much is. And when it is the right time, the ice will melt and you will be able to see all that was happening internally. And it is watering those inner seeds. And when the seasons change, those seeds will have been fertilized and watered, right, into their bloom. And this goes back to how I mentioned with the Gregorian calendar, like, you can't rush your new year. You can't rush your new process. But you could be accepting of change that is here, that is now, that is happening. This is an invitation to go within. The melancholy energy is like this sense of wanting to belong again within thyself. It can feel lonely. There could be some repressed energies that's needing to get some attention. But it's really the attention it needs from you, from self. Maybe there's some cynicalism. Maybe there's a super pickiness. And Venus and Pisces loves to be about the magic of things, loves to be in love, loves to feed the fantasy. And Saturn is like, I can project that fantasy out to you. People think that Saturn can't be that freak. But this is part of the foreplay. This is part of the creative energy. This is part of the nurturing of the seed. This is why Venus loves to make love to Saturn, why she gets along with Saturn, right? As much as it may seem like a contradiction, this is that intensity of like, talk me through it. I want you to feel through my soul kind of love. This is that missionary with eye gazing kind of love making that y'all take your time and feel it all the way through without rushing the process and stroking the right strokes with the right pressure, breathing through the pressure of the intensity as the bodies are shaking through the explosion, and still being in love while focusing on an intention of what you're creating with that cosmic juice, with the milk and honey of the universe, and nurturing it. How do we turn this orgasm into a frequency of patterns that is going to be in alignment with the projection of this world that we are creating into our reality? Venus says, I want it, I got it, it's mine. There are no limitations for me with Venus and Pisces, which is why she's exalted in there. However, Venus and Pisces tend to get married later in life also. There are some troubles in marriage or in relationships. And Saturn can be intense with that as well. And so there is a shadow side to this energy of like, you know, if you're not operating from a space of pure unconditional love with your soul and your soulmate, you're gonna gain some revelations in where are you limiting yourself at? Where are you creating these resistance? And what is burdensome to your soul? What are you avoiding, right? For those of you who are avoidant, because you can't run away from yourself. No matter if you fall in love with running away from yourself, Saturn is going to G-check that as well. Like, okay, you're in love with escapism and overindulgence in this way. And like, I'm here to remind you that like, while that shit is all good and dandy and like, that's the reality you want to create for yourself, like you still have a responsibility to be accountable for yourself. Like, if you're lacking accountability, I'm going to remind you. I'm going to remind you exactly what that looks like. And so it's saying no without an explanation also. But, and both. Loving the correction of status, loving the responsibility of being able to be in your chaos and being your magic and being your creativity and saying, yeah, I did that. I'm responsible for that. I'm accountable for that. That's me right there. My partner, I love them. That's a reflection of me. My partner, I don't like them. That's a reflection of me. That was my choice. I chose that individual. You don't choose what they do and how they express it, but you chose them to be a divine symbolic reflection of you and partnership. This goes with our friends. This goes with, and then with, because it's Saturn and Pisces and Venus and Pisces in this conjunction, there's going to be some like revelations of deception. There's going to be a dropping of fucking mask. This is again, and this is leading up to the North Node. So this is a lot of fated experiences and things in this nudge that's going to happen. You can't avoid it. I'm pretty sure if you do take time to go within tomorrow, you're going to feel a major shift. And while Venus and Saturn do meet about every year or so in different signs, right? We have a lot of major things happening right now. Like I mentioned, not only is the moon leaning closer to the North Node of Pisces, and this conjunction is leading to the North Node of Pisces, we're going to have other planets all aligning by between the 21st, so tomorrow the 18th, January 18th, you're going to be feeling this major shift. Then on the 21st, we also have other shifts that's happening. And then by the 25th, we have the parade of planets. I'm going to get there in a moment. The third card was the solar plexus, which is the third chakra also. So 33s could be very significant. And Saturn is very symbolic of bones, but specifically the spine. And the spine has 33 vertebrae. So that's also... Oh, okay. Bear with me. That's because I wanted to move and fidget, because my spine sitting down. Give me one moment, y'all. So 33, the third card that came out. Yeah, I've read the other two. I read the other two. Let me... Fire. Some of you could be feeling burnt out. Some of you could be feeling depleted from your own light, feeling like the ways of the world and the chaos around is trying to take your light away from you. Maybe you feel like you need to call back your power, but do that. Call back your power. This can be an invitation for you to call back your power. The Kundalini rising, it gets scary. You got to go through the darkness to get to the light. So some of you might be pulled into a really dark space, only to be illuminated to the true love within your being. And again, this is to like rewire your consciousness. Your consciousness being your egoic defense mechanisms even. Remember, the subconscious mind is just on time. It's now. where the conscious mind is slightly delayed. It's it's illuminated, but it's delayed. It had to become cognizant and conscious of what's already there, what's already happening. In the subconscious realm, it's already happening. It's happened now. So darkness leads you towards the light. And this is why Venus is so in love with Saturn also. And says, yeah, we can have a matrimony. We can have a union. We can be conjunct with each other and remind people of the beauty of tough love and the foundational building that can happen with consistency, with commitments, with dedication. Because there's going to be times in your journey, like if you're committed to your career or you're committed to your partner, your marriage, your relationship, there's going to be arguments. There's going to be dark times. There's going to be points that's going to be frustrating and even you're going to ponder, do I even want to be in this thing? But when you embrace yourself as an embodiment of love and you question the teachings, the lessons, why? What is this serving me for? You get to apply the knowing as wisdom, in which there is no true separation, even though there's an apparition of boundaries, there's an apparition of limitations. And that's because Saturn is like, yo, I just want you to respect me. You want me to respect you. You want all of this. I'm willing to love you all the way through. You should let me love you. I'm a great lover because I can project anything into your reality. Not just like a magician. I am the light. Right? I don't have to pretend to be the light. I am the light. I can project it and pull it from any space, any time, and give it to you. Are you willing to respect what is given to you? Can you nurture it? Can you provide for it? It's like two people creating a baby. You make love to each other and you can create a baby and it can be projected into your reality. But do you have the energy to respect yourself and respect the baby? Are you able to nurture yourself and nurture the baby? Because that's going to come with commitment. That's going to come with dedication. That's going to come with discipline. That's going to come with the stress, the wanting to give up at times. Because what the fuck, being a parent, oh my gosh, like you have to learn from this other being, this other soul who has its own consciousness and ways of being. And like you're learning parts that's unconditional love. And each vertebrae lights up, going up Jacob's ladder, because you cannot Jacob yourself. You cannot trick yourself and run away from yourself. You have to go up. You have to see yourself in the light. You may have lost yourself for a moment, given up your rights, and then reclaim it again. Through perfect love and perfect trust, your spiritual trust. solar plexus, self-worth, and self-esteem. You know, the ritual of marriage is not just in the ways that you know it with Yahweh, how they do it Yahweh, but you could do it my way, you could do it your way. Venus and Saturn in Pisces, it's like there's Yahweh, but I kind of want a hand fast with you. Can we do a hand fasting? Can we do it this way? I want to jump over the broom with you. I want to do it where we're throwing a fucking party and we're fucking throwing plates on the floor. Hi, beautiful soul. Hello. Darkness is where the light has not yet illuminated. But is it? Is darkness truly where the light has not illuminated? Because darkness consumes all forms of light. And so is it that it is not illuminated or that is not perceived? Because even though it's consuming it, it still exists. Have you ever been in a really dark room and yet still been able to see through the shades of darkness? Even if you can't see through the dark, if you're consumed by the dark, you are the light. Are there truly shadows casted? They are in certain dimensions. But if darkness and light are one and the same, then even though it consumes it, this is where the illumination of it is the consciousness. Light is light, and light exists. The perception birth into consciousness is the delay of awareness of, wow, I exist. I've existed as light this entire time, even in this darkness. That's perception. That's consciousness. Consciousness is birthed through the light. Just like anger is birthed from sacred rage, right? But sacred rage is what it is. It can be rageful. Rage doesn't have to be angry. Yet anger is filled with rage. Just like consciousness is filled with light. But the light does not necessarily have to be made conscious because it is the light. But when it is made conscious, it is conscious that it is the light. Darkness hasn't been accepted as the creator of light for you. Darkness hasn't been accepted as the creator of light for you. Everybody has their own belief, and belief is what they create reality. That is why Saturn says, let me love you and I'll project this out for you, right? That is what you believe. And Venus is like, I love that idea. I love that belief system and I want to experience it. The light exists in the darkness. Already. So does it have to be the creator of light? Does it birth the light? Or do they both exist simultaneously? Maybe. Maybe not. Right? This is why the subconscious mind it's deep in the depths of darkness also. And going in there, really allowing yourself to sink deeper and deeper into those spaces. And is there not a fire down there? Is there not a light? Because I know even in the pitches of blackest of spaces that I have been, in which all seems like the void and everything is dissipated and gone and disappeared. It is only the lack of perception of light that I am dwelling in. That is the melancholy energy that we're talking about, that this energy can have through the pessimistic thoughts. Because in my darkness, I have every fractal of light that really exists in me. Every rainbow body, every color spectrum beyond these dimensions of perceptions. And it's a fucking juicy, scary, even ferocious, liberating and wild and freeing experience to be so dark that everything exists in it, including the light. And it's not until consciousness is birthed that is made aware, oh shit, there's darkness and there's light and there's me, consciousness, perception. I'm going to read your comments in a moment. I honor myself by doing things that please me, not only those that please others. Venus conjunct Saturn and Pisces. I am empowered as I release the need to live up to other people's unrealistic expectations of me. When I respect and approve of myself, others will naturally do the same. I teach others how to treat and respect me by how I treat and respect myself. Oh, talk about Venus and Pisces. Venus in Pisces conjunct Saturn. I know I am worthy of love and respect. The boundaries I create with others acknowledge my self-worth. Worth. Y'all, I did not choose these cards. These cards were chosen. Let me go back to what my beautiful sister was saying. It's an observation, not a perception for me. And I love that for you. You know, there's observations. We spoke about that. And then there's perceptions. So yeah. And I love how everyone is entitled to their, analytics of perception, right? And because perception is where there is thoughts, it's analytical, it evaluates what it's seeing, right? Where observation has, it's just viewing, it's observing, it's not evaluating. And so therefore it does not come to a conclusion just yet. Perception has conclusion. Perception has conclusion because it has evaluated what it has observed, and through the evaluations, its analytical logics parts puts it, right? That's the Saturn part of it. It categorizes it into this perception, and then it forms that conclusion of it and says, this is what this is, right? And that's how we do with energy. Energy makes love to itself, right? And when you're in observer mode, you're just witnessing that the energy is moving, but it has no labels. It has it simply is what it is. You see it working and how it's moving. Oh, okay. Just looking, you observe, you experience. You're the experience, the witnesser in it, as you're one with the creation also, right? But perception is the one that idolizes things and gives it a label of some sort. In my experience, one is not without the other. Yeah. Hello, beautiful souls. Yeah. So, and then the other card. So this is part of the first group. This is the last one from the first group. And then I had other cards. And maybe there isn't supposed to be a group. Maybe you're part of both groups of how the cards was coming out. Don't fucking let me tell you about your life. I'm just the messenger here for you to receive any activations for your soul's awareness and awakening and experience. And I embrace this experience as a divine channeler to be experienced through love, right? I think it's really scrumptious and juicy and exciting for me to be a messenger here and be of service and having y'all watch me, because it's like, ooh, this is how you perceive me. You really giving me your time and attention. I love you for that. You could be anywhere else, but you're giving me your time and attention here. And as you're here with me, giving it to me, you're really giving it to yourself, because it's such a reciprocation of love. Like, I'm here to fucking nurture your soul. I fucking love you. Thank you for existing. Yeah. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for allowing yourself to receive whatever messages is meant for you, so you can do what you need to do, regardless of what that is, whether it's go make a baby, go make a business, go make a sandwich, right? You know, whatever. It's your life. But having me a part of the experience is a beautiful experience that I'm grateful to be a part of with you. And so with that being said, let's go into this other card here. Compassion and forgiveness. Ooh. Lessons on lessons on lessons about unconditional love with Venus conjunct Saturn, for sure. All right, so it says here, I have compassion for myself and those around me. I let go of anger, resentment, and torments from the past. Total Saturn shit. And I do not give my power away to those involved. Then I said, call back your power, y'all. You better call that shit back. For real. Forgiveness is a gift, and I give it to myself. I forgive myself for things I feel I could have done differently in the past, and I remind myself that I am responsive. I forgive myself for things I feel I could have done differently in the past, and I remind myself that my response could not have been any more evolved than it was at the time. I am compassionate to those in need, and this shows them that they are not alone. I practice this by listening, sharing, understanding, and being of service. Saturn is very big on being of service, which is why it's big on soul contracts. Also, it's not just a projector. Saturn wants you to be of use, of service, right? Saturn wants you to be patient, to listen. Yeah, I had a call. Can y'all still hear me? I feel like you can, but I just want to make sure before I keep going. Saturn likes to listen. Saturn likes to share wisdom, although Saturn does like to be alone. Cool. Saturn does like to be alone. Venus enjoys company. So again, this is Venus-Saturn conjunction. How can the two work together for you? By being compassionate and forgiving. Because Saturn is like, buckle up. Don't be giving away your power like that. Why you feel, you know, it can be harsh to itself, to the point that it can be tormenting to the heart sometimes, because of a shadow aspect of Venus and Pisces, and Saturn and Pisces is creating narratives in our heads of things that's not necessarily there, right? Saturn essentially wants to dismantle any psychosis and false narratives that's happening in the space, in the realms of illusions. And Saturn would much rather create in that space with realistic lens, where Venus will just fantasize. And because Saturn can have some pessimistic thoughts at times, because it sees through the darkness, it sees in the shadows, in that space, it's like, you know, stay ready, don't have to get ready. So it's like, as good as things are, let's prepare for the worst. Also, you know, Venus is like, why do we need to prepare for the worst? I'm so in love with what is happening here. This is my reality. I'm creating it, right? And so there can be this like subconscious torment to it, right? And there could be subconscious resentment. I know that's one thing that Venus and Pisces, because of the self-sabotaging and Pisces energy, does have like hidden enemies also in there. And so Venus and Pisces doesn't necessarily know how to have healthy discernments and healthy boundaries. Venus and Pisces get so in love that sometimes she's easy to deceive. And then she gets hurt. And then she gets angry and resentful. And Saturn is like, let me help you learn healthy discernment while you are allowing yourself to explore these depths of love. So they harmonize with each other really well because they complement each other's weaknesses with each other's strengths. And through their differences is why it can be tough. And that's why sometimes resentment can build if someone is not speaking up for themselves. But they both just want you to liberate yourself. They just have different forms of expressions in doing it. Throat chakra. So by the way, y'all, I didn't really get to read the cards when they came out. They were just like, the chakras were coming through. So this is for I guess the second group, but I'm not even sure why I got two groups out of it. It could just be maybe different levels, or maybe it is different groups of people, or I feel like for some of you, both groups' messages apply. So we have the throat chakra, with connect with spirit. I develop a quiet mind that allows me to tune in and get in touch with my higher self or my spirit. I listen for the guidance that is there waiting for me to hear. I am open to the truth, and I welcome spiritual inspiration from others. I will benefit greatly by practicing meditation and stillness. I ask for inner guidance to assist me in getting more in touch with my spirit. I know that if I ask for guidance, it will be given. Yeah, Venus and Saturn conjunction, like I mentioned earlier in the beginning, was giving a big introverted experience for reprogramming and reconnecting with the subconscious realms, your inner quantum field, your inner world, your inner realms, to allow yourself to connect with the body's guidance, but also your soul's guidance. This could even be emotional intelligence and emotional regulations and tapping into that, or reshaping the water molecules in your being. But it's more of controlling through the reprogramming, but letting go of control completely and being in tune with your soul's purpose and integrating that into the body, into your quantum field, into your auric field, into your etheric realm, registering it in every cell, every organ, every molecule, every atom, every essence of your being, and all timelines, realms, and dimensions of your existence, remembering that you are worthy of generational wealth. Because your breath recalibrates the wellness of the next of kin. I love that. So breathing through love and with love, as love. I love you. The other message is third eye chakra, Ajna chakra, or first eye. Acknowledge spirit. Saturn can be about reputation also, or an acknowledgement here. Especially with like Venus. So yeah, anyway. I trust in a higher source and I acknowledge my direct connection with it. In the stillness, I listen for the wisdom inside and I am open to the spirituality that is within and all around me. I know that love is the creative force. I meditate and welcome mystical truths. I am open to seeking guidance in my spiritual quest from a spiritual teacher, master, or guru. This second group is a lot of internal meditation, stillness, like we were talking about with the ice. Through the stillness, you're going to be able to tap into a flow inside of you that others aren't going to necessarily see right away. But you'll be able to acknowledge the spirit of that flow. You'll be able to acknowledge the creative force within that your love frequency. That's going to reveal mystical truths about yourself, to yourself, for the collective. Because you'll project that at some point, because it's going to be a part of you. Crown chakra. There's a lot of upper chakras in this one here. One with all. I feel the divine force flowing through me. I honor this. And I know that it flows through all. I am calm in knowing that I am one with all. And I contemplate and meditate on this fact. I regularly remind myself that we are all from the same source and that we are all on a journey as spiritual beings experiencing this physical existence. I am aware that I have a choice as to how I respond to what is happening in my life. My responses have an enormous effect on my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Hi, Crank. And then there's two more cards here. The sacral chakra with sensuality. I encourage myself to express my sensuality and emotions creatively, using all my faculties, including touch, voice, and actions, and creative abilities such as arts, craft, music, acting, cooking, gardening, and writing. I practice being aware of and enjoying my senses being nourished and stimulated by the natural world, such as by landscapes, people, weather, animals, aromas, and sounds. Yeah, Venus conjunct Saturn, for as much like meditation happens in many different flows. So some of you may be feeling like this urge, like an urgency to move your bodies and dance, and an ecstatic dance, and just that in itself can be a meditation in which you just, the sound frequencies just have you like cosmically exploding on yourself and everything around you, right? Even if it's just an energetic orgasm, it doesn't have to be a literal, but it could be, right? Or this can just be like a sudden urge to like freestyle a song or something, but it's not about it being for it's like, yes, maybe, yes, to show it to be seen, but like, this is from your soul. This is not because of anybody else. This is just from you, to you, for you, but for everyone else too. And like gardening and any type of like craft work in itself. The divine feminine energies of love, being an embodiment of love. This sensuality is about embodying love. Embodying love through application, right? That's the discipline. That's the principle that Saturn is saying. Practice. Do it. You don't have to be perfect at it. Practice will eventually make perfect. But just practicing and being aware of what it is that you enjoy with pleasure. Do more of that. Do what you love. Saturn and Venus conjunction is like, do what you love and love what you do. Even if it's at work. The last card from the second group is the base chakra, the Muladhara. Okay, so we went from the lower to the higher, from the higher back to the lower. So there's like an anking going on here, right? An anking process here, or going full circle and rejoicing with oneself, or like what Plants of Power says, souls return. And it says independence. I know what my needs are, and I actively pursue them, knowing that I will be guided and provided for when I put in the effort. That's totally Saturn here. I open myself to all possibilities and participate fully in life. That's totally Venus. I use my imagination and my visions to initiate what I wish for, and I pursue it. That's the fucking Piscean energy. I am not waiting to be rescued. I am not a victim. I am strong. That is Saturn and Venus in conjunction in the sign of Pisces. Y'all, I love how this was like full circle. So, I was getting about the angels. Where's that book at too? Really quick here. Because I know everything fell and I had it here. Give me a moment. Am I sitting on it? No, I'm not. Do I know it by heart? Do I know it by heart? Aries. I'm not going to pull cards for all of you. I'm just going to give you a little reminder. Like I said, I did do Venus and Pisces, and so for y'all to check out that video. I also did Plant Power. Cool. You did a song. I did Saturn and Pisces also. And then more than likely tomorrow I'm going to be doing the North Node. And so the houses will be the same houses. Here we go. But the way that it's connecting is going to be different because, like I said, Saturn in Pisces, Saturn in conjunction with Venus plays a different, it's a little bit different than if it was just Saturn alone in Pisces or Venus alone in Pisces. And the North Node is the North Node. So you can go back to those videos for references, for further information. So I'm not going to like go super crazy into all of that because I feel like this was more about embodying the channeled message than making it so much about the astrology. Although we are talking about astrology, we are talking about this planetary shift in which, you know, has yes, it's a mathematical equation that has a major influence on the Earth's toroidal field and the magnetism of our energies. And essentially we can be over the influence of it, or we can ride in the influence, or we can use this influence. We can do what we choose with this energy. You can work against it, right? Even if you choose to. And essentially everything has a consequence, but going into this for yourself, knowing that you are an embodiment of these faculties also. As a macro and micro organism, connecting with these planets, bringing a sense of remembrance too, that just as much as you could have created yourself, or source or the Most High could have created a human in you, you could have created a planet in you and a planet outside of you. And it's the soul's remembrance of when it chooses to break free from the constructs of the body's limitations. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? So Pisces, this energy is clearly happening in your first house. So this Venus-Saturn conjunction can do major changes to your body. Maybe you feel like you're shape-shifting. Maybe you'll have internal shifts. Maybe you're going to feel something with your bones. You're going to feel something with your heart and your lungs. You know, you can feel shifts, you know, in your joints. The spinal cord, I think, came out earlier. We were talking about 33 also. This could also be maybe just you having a strong pull to change your image of maybe your hair or your clothes or something like that, and like you initiate that change. It will be beneficial. These are the areas in the houses that you will benefit from, right? Aries, this energy is happening in your 12th house. And so Aries, this is more tapping into your creative realm, tapping into the subconscious realm, maybe resting some more, allowing yourself to tap into your psychic abilities, to your spiritual endeavors even. Anything that's more in the subconscious realm, in the unknown. This can be some messages revealed from the spaces from there here. So definitely pay attention so that you will benefit in meditation, right? And spiritual guidance. You will benefit from, I would say, even like if you love painting or doing tattoos or yoga even, right? Like whatever it is that you enjoy doing, just even like being in the pleasure of it and letting that become your meditation too. It's the subconscious realms. So you don't have to like necessarily force it, but definitely take time to like be in the pleasure of it, but also be in the space of meditation, because that's part of the disciplines and the principle of your expansion here and your activations for this energy here. Especially if you find it hard to meditate, maybe listening to some certain sound frequencies that's going to help you dive deeper into meditation, or getting some, this could be like either Reiki energy work, or even hypnosis or something like that. Maybe something that you feel called to or pulled to or something. Taurus, this energy is happening in your 11th house. So Saturn and Venus conjunction here in Pisces can be very much showing you some harsh truth of your network, right? Of your environments, and helping you to reestablish a foundation in which is weaving the Maya, is weaving the reality that you truly want to honor and make love to. Especially Taurus, y'all are ruled by Venus, right? And Venus is exalted in Pisces and all about magic. So this could even be that you are fated and you start like connecting with new friends, and maybe you had to let go of old friends, but this is like reestablishing your connections with your aunts, your uncles, your friends. And it doesn't mean that if you didn't talk to them, you have to talk to them. No, what I'm saying here is like reestablishing what they mean to you in your heart and in your mind. So just because they are blood relatives to you, are they related to your soul's purpose here and your network? Because if they're not, you can love them at a distance. And those that are meant to be close to you, to create this environmental change, in which is really important for you and the collective here, it's going to be like a telepathic knowing, even heart to heart knowing. There could also be some masks being dropped in like people that you were connecting with, socializing with. But this could also be like even just walking to the store, and the person who brings you up in the register, gives you a profound experience or message or something like that. That is like, wow, I didn't even know this was going to be life-changing, right? Gemini, this energy is happening in your 10th house. And in the 10th house, this is your reputation. This is long-term contracts here. This is marriage. This is, that generational wealth and foundational building here. So I feel like everything that we channeled in this live is really serving your highest and greatest good, Gemini here. There could be really deep contemplations and meditations about this. Like, how would you want to create generational wealth? What are you gonna practicing on? What is your why? What is your focus here? That could be a big thing for you. Cancer, this energy is happening in your 9th house. So y'all could be really fantasizing about traveling abroad, and maybe with Saturn in the mix, like maybe there's something holding you back that you're not able to travel abroad just yet, because there's something that has to be solidified or taken care of or looked at. Or it could even be the other way around. Like maybe you do go out abroad, you have no resistance, nothing holding you back from going abroad. But then you find somebody that you least expect. Maybe you're single and you find somebody that like you like, wow, I can see me marrying this person out of nowhere, right? Like a soul knowing, or moving to another place, or something along the lines here. And this could even be like you just feeling like you're having a shift of faith and philosophies, and shifting the narrative of, your religious constructs or something like that. Even Leo, this energy is happening in your 8th house, right? So this could be, really you, Venus and Saturn, going into a space of like shared resources. What resources do you have available to you? What bonds are you rescinding? Are you breaking? Are you negotiating? This is also like sexual energy. Maybe some of you are clearing out your sexual energy, or healing that, or cutting cords and calling back your power. Maybe some of you are getting in love into some deep kinks, and creating, certain safe words and contracts in that space. And like, this is what we're working with. This is what it is. This is where it's at. So it's a lot of like renegotiating and contracts, and digesting these things here. There could be a prolonging, or feeling like there's certain restrictions and stuff like that, because Saturn is in the mix here. But it's all like honoring and trusting the divine time of what it is that you're looking to renegotiate here. And also making sure that like you're confronting any fears, you're doing your due diligence, and like doing it for the power of love, or I'm sorry, doing it for the power of love rather than for the love of power here, right? Virgo, this energy is happening in your 7th house. Y'all could be going through massive relationship shifts, especially because Virgo, Pisces is in the North Node, and y'all are gonna be and y'all are the South Node. And the lunar, the nodes right now, I don't know if I was saying earlier that the moon was gonna be going conjunct to the North Node. I meant to say the South Node. The moon is leading closer to the South Node. So if I said North Node, I'm so sorry for that misinformation earlier. But the lunar nodes are getting closer to that. So this could be major changes in your lifelong relationships, yes, with your partner, but even your peers, and really your acknowledgement, your equity, your assets, your really foundational building, long-term contracts also here, looking into that. Libra, this energy is happening in your 6th house. So Libra, some of y'all might find yourselves getting a new pet, or having something happen. Saturn also does, and we're talking about dissolution. So like maybe you experience a heartbreak that you got to heal from, or a grievance, or fighting through pessimistic thoughts, or something that it feels like, I just want to heal from this like awakening of like, I can heal from this. I don't have to be in this energy. Even maybe doing healing and yourself, healing. This could be even a healing activation of your energy. Maybe you're a natural healer. This could even just be like maybe part of your disciplines, and the principle is reorganizing and prioritizing your space, and your errands, or your to-do list, or something along the lines of like your daily routines and habits here, creating a shift to do what you love and love what you do, but allowing it to be, maybe you're creating space in your daily routines or something like that. And I know I'm reading all the signs, and I didn't say this earlier, but you want to listen for your rising sign, but this is for your sun, moon, or rising. And then Scorpio, this energy is happening in your 5th house. So with Venus and Saturn together and Pisces in the 5th house, this could be very, very much about the limelight. This could be very much about, you feeling like you want to be seen, but this is like subconscious stuff too. Like, there could be some shadowy stuff about, like, maybe you put yourself out there and people are gossiping about what you're putting out there or something like that. Like, hidden enemies can be revealed there, but there's a lot of like creative energy that you're being, called to or something like that. This could also be like Venus and Saturn conjunction in Pisces is creating a baby or creating foundational longevity, right? When it comes down to the next of kin. We were talking about that energy also. This could be exploring a new relationship, even maybe somebody new has come into your life and they're different than what you and expected them to be, but there's something about honoring and that relationship with reverence, with grace. Because the 5th house can be flings and Virgo, I meant to say this for y'all too, like this could be coming into a new relationship, not just letting go of old relationships. Maybe some of you are single and y'all find yourselves coming into like a relationship or something like that. For these with the relationship energies, whether it's y'all already in a relationship or leaving a relationship for this purpose or coming into a relationship, this is about honoring that relationship, like truly, thoroughly enjoying the pleasures of it, but honoring it with integrity and respect and fulfilling each other's fantasies while honoring the responsibility of what that means to uphold this relationship as a divine reflection of source of who you are, right? So I really like that energy. This could also be like a great awareness or revelation of like, maybe this relationship isn't serving me, right? Maybe this is not what I wanted or something like that. Because Venus and Pisces can be very fling-like. They're very, as fast as they go in is as fast as they come out also. So, Scorpio in the 5th house could also be flings too. Sagittarius energy in the 4th house, right? This is the home here. Some of y'all could just be feeling like y'all want to invest in some land. Y'all want to get homes, maybe get into like real estate, something about connecting with mothers and whatnot, healing or reconciling even, or forgiving, or just missing your mothers. Maybe some of your mothers have passed away or something like that, or you're going to be a mother. This energy is very, very different here. But this is again like honoring that with a space of wisdom, with a space of what can I do to create a foundation where my home is where the heart is, where I love where I live, where I give thanks and gratitude every day for what I have in this home, and I establish a foundation in which is going to continue to nurture my soul to be in peace and liberation here through my foundational living. Or even, creating a trust fund or something like that, and having all your assets in that trust for the home base of assets and protections in that space or something like that. This is also, so Capricorn in the 3rd house, so Venus and Saturn here in the 3rd house. This is like the movements here. This is your neighborhood. This is your neighbors. This is your cousins. This is children. This is communication. So all the embodiments of love can surround all those areas. This energy here is also the gypsy. It's also and again, Venus and Pisces wants to explore all of that. And the third house is also the oracles, right? And conversing and communicating in that. And so you may be getting a lot of downloads through meditation for you to communicate later on to the collective. But this could be a more introverted experience where maybe you're observing and witnessing and exploring, or certain things in your neighborhood even, or you come into some resources that you've been really wanting to connect with when it comes down to like local things, events, or something along those lines here. And Aquarius, this energy is happening in your second house. So this is your values. This is really the area in which like your identity can be reshaped, like shifted and changed. And like this could be a financial investment that feels a little bit slow to move, but like ends up being such an investment that is bringing you generational wealth, or a wealth transfer even for you. But it could also be a hard lesson to learn. Maybe you did an investment that wasn't the right investment, and it feels like, oh, like this feels shitty. This feels like, what the fuck? And it's really to bring to you the awareness of investing wisely, investing better. If that's the case, if it's an investment that kind of goes sour, it's for you to do your due diligence. Maybe you were a little too excited and you didn't really allow, Saturn to have a say. You were just in the Venus of things, right? So whatever it may be, this is investments here. This is, your assets. These are your values. This is your money here. And this is like, you putting your a lot of emphasis and connections into your self-worth. So yeah, that's all the messages I have for all the signs here. I love you all. I thank you all for connecting with me. And I hope that I affirm that any downloads, messages that I've shared with you all was able to serve you as a full embodiment of love and universal principles here to illuminate and awaken any dormant energies that need to be awoken at this time for your soul's evolution and grace here, as well as you nurture your inner chaos and your inner darkness and feel the liberation of love when it comes down to changes, right? Because sometimes Saturn has a hard time with those changes. At the same time, it's like it knows that, in order to, it takes money to, it takes money to make money. You gotta destroy to build sometimes. And Saturn has that wisdom and that awareness. And so allow yourself to tap into the wisdom and the awareness of what it is to be in your chaos, what it is to be in the darkness of things sometimes, and how to explore your subconscious realms. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I thank y'all. Peace.